Classified room, North Korea. The fourth time the state has dragged this family back. Through a concrete wall, two girls hear their mother screaming. A security agent crouches in front of them with an offer. One word, and the beating stops. Tell me the truth. Did you visit a church? Did you reach for South Korea? One word turns hunger into a treason. One word, and 3 generations vanish into camps no one comes back from. The girls say nothing. Their mother screamed again. They still say nothing. The oldest is 15. She has already survived a famine that killed her father, her grandmother, and her infant brother. She has crossed the Tumen River in the dark, with her little sister sealed in a sack on their mother's back. But here's what the agent doesn't know. This girl has already passed this exam 4 separate times, and by the time this ends, she will escape North Korea 5 times, walk into Washington at 20, and pull 83 other people through the same hole behind her. What kept those 2 girls silent on that floor? And how does anyone outrun that machine 5 times? North Hamgyong Province, the mid-1990s. A famine the state built. The family is 8 people. A father, a mother, a grandmother, 5 children. They are loyal. They believe in the country. None of that matters now because the food has stopped and the country is letting its own people starve. This is not a drought. The harvests failed, the old Soviet support vanished, and the ration system that fed the whole country simply stopped handing out food. What little is left, the government keeps for the army and the capital. Out in the provinces, people are told to stay loyal and wait. They wait, and they die. The official name for these years is Arduous March. On the ground, it is just hunger, everywhere, all the time. The father crosses the Tumen River into China. He comes back carrying a sack of rice for his children. Here is the trap. Leaving the country is a crime, and coming home with food is the proof that you left. So, the rice meant to keep his children alive becomes evidence that convicts him. The state arrests him for it. He goes into the prison alive, and what they do to him there kills him. He was killed for trying to feed his family. The grandmother starves. The baby, 2 months old, starves. The oldest daughter, 18, walks out one day to look for food. She never comes back. Nobody. No words. Just gone. Count the table. 8 people used to sit down to eat in this house. Now there are 3. This video is not going to show you those deaths. The family could not stand to look at them either. The loss is in the arithmetic. 8, then 3. The 3 who are left are the mother and 2 young daughters, Jinhye and Grace. And then the state comes to the house, not to help, to expel. Because the father crossed the border, the whole family is now branding anti-state. Traitors. In North Korea, your family's record follows you forever, and one river crossing has just rewritten theirs into the worst category there is. There is no appeal. There is no living down. The police told the mother to get out. They threatened to burn the house down with them inside it. So, the decision was made for her. Staying is death. She has already watched it kill half her family. But there is a price, and the audience must watch her pay for it. She cannot carry 3 children across a river in the dark. She has a 5-year-old son. She leaves him with an acquaintance, someone who will keep him safe until she can come back for him. She makes the boy promise. Sleep 5 nights, she tells him. I will be back with rice and candy. Night. The riverbank. 3 figures in the water. The mother takes her starving 7-year-old Grace and puts her inside a sack. She lifts the sack onto her back. She takes Jinhye's hand. Tumen is narrow here, and that is the point. Narrow water freezes first. They cross where the guards expect no one to try. And she steps into the current, waist high and freezing, and starts to cross. The water pulls her legs. The sack on her back holds a 7-year-old who has been told not to make a sound. One hand grips Jinhye, one slip, one cry, one patrol with a light, and it ends right here in the river. She does not slip. She does not stop. She walks her 2 children across the border in the dark. Escape 1. Behind them, in a stranger's house, a little boy starts counting nights. How many of those 5 nights will be gone by the time she finds a way back to him? And what does a mother owe a promise the river has already broken? They reach the far bank. They are in China. And the film must tell you the truth right now, because the family learned it fast. China is not freedom. China and North Korea have an agreement. Every North Korean that China catches, China sends back. The two governments signed it decades ago, and China keeps it. Cross the river without papers, and you are a criminal on both sides at once. So, the moment this family touched the far shore, they did not become free. They became illegal. 3 people who, by law, are not allowed to exist where they are standing. And the agreement is not formal. China treats North Korean defectors as illegal migrants, not refugees, so it does not matter what is waiting for them at home. The Chinese police hand them to the North Korean border guards, and the guards take it from there. Everyone in this borderland knows the rule, including the people who might have sheltered them. It is why so many doors stay shut, and there is something worse waiting on this side of the river. The borderland is full of men who watch for women like the mother. They do not see a widow with 2 daughters. They see merchandise. Brokers sell North Korean women to Chinese men who cannot find wives. A woman with no papers has no way to say no and no one to call, because the police are the people who will deport her. The daughters learn to watch the men who come around, who is too friendly, who asks too many questions about their mother. Young as they are already learning to read about a threat before it closes. So, the daughters live with one specific fear, that they will wake up one morning and their mother will be gone. Sold at night. This is life now. No documents, no home. Never stay anywhere long. They cannot rent. They cannot work in the open. They cannot put a child in school or take one to a hospital. They survive the silence of strangers, and they move the moment a place starts to feel watched. The mother's whole job every day is to read a room and know the exact moment it is time to run. And the promise from the river comes due. The mother sends a man back across to bring her son out. The man returns alone. He tells her what happened. The boy was put out of the house. He waited for his mother. He called her and for his sister. And then he died. He had counted his nights the way she taught him. 5 sleeps, and his mother would come with rice and candy. She did not come on the 5th night, because she could not. By the time she had any way back to him, there was nothing left to come back to. The sack she carried Grace in had room for one more child. That thought crosses her mind every day for the rest of her life. In the middle of all this, Jinhye finds something, a small church, out in the countryside. She does not fully understand why it matters. Neither does the film yet. Hold on to it. Then, one day, there was a knock at the door. Chinese police, standing in the doorway, caught one. How does a family pass an exam they have never seen, written in a language designed to convict them? And what is the right answer when every wrong one costs 3 generations? The Chinese hand them back at the border. A North Korean officer looks at them and says the rule out loud. You are all dogs now. Head down. Then the chains. Then the rifle butts. The trip back is its own punishment. Hands bound. Heads are forced down so no one can look up or speak. Anyone who lifts their face gets the rifle. They are moved like cargo, cell to cell, deeper into the country they just risked everything to leave. The women are strip-searched for hidden money. And money matters more than you would expect, because money is what buys a better outcome later. A transfer, a meal, a guard who looks the other way. So, the state takes it first. Everything comes off. Everything is searched. A guard who finds your hidden cash has made his mouth and made your sentence worse. They are forced to sit down and stand up, sit down and stand up, for hours until bodies start to collapse. Besides Jinhye, a 65-year-old grandmother is beaten. Jinhye's own head is put against the wall. And here is the thing the family comes to understand, the single most important fact in their survival. Interrogation is not a punishment. It is grading. If a true story about ordinary people outlasting an impossible system is what you came here for, this channel hunts these stories down, and the subscribe button is how the next one reaches you. Because of what this family does next, they do 4 times. The state needs to sort each prisoner into a category, and the category decides everything. Did you cross the river to find food? That is a misdemeanor. The penalty is months in a labor camp. hard but survivable. But did you contact a church? Were you trying to reach South Korea? That is a treason. The penalty is the political prison camps, the ones people do not come back from, and the punishment falls on 3 generations of your family. Understand the gap between the 2 grades. The labor camp is months of starving work, and it is brutal, but you can walk out of it alive. The political camps are the other thing entirely. Whole families sent in together. Grandparents, parents, children, punished for the act of one person. People are born inside those camps and die in them without ever seeing the outside. That is what a single wrong answer in the interrogation buys. That is why the mother would rather be beaten until her skull cracks than say the word church. So, survival has exactly one rule. Every single time you must pass as a food seeker. You went for food. Only food. Always food. Picture the exam. An agent with a file and a pen. Where did you go? Who did you meet? Why did you cross? And across the table, a mother giving the only answers that keep her children out of the political camps. We were hungry. We went to find food. We worked, we ate, and we came home. She says it flat, every time, no matter what they do to her. Because the second she adds one wrong detail, a church, a plan, a name, the grade jumps to treason, and the whole family vanishes into a place people do not come back from. Jinhye sits and watches her mother do this. She is taking the exam by heart. It is a performance, and breaking character is a death sentence. And here is the cruelty inside it. Jinhye is a Christian. She found that church. The truth they are all hiding under torture is the one truth that would destroy them. So, they learn tradecraft, what you carry, what do you say, what you let them find. And they learn the only way to move money through strip search. It sounds impossible until your life depends on it. You roll the bills tight. You seal them in plastic so the stomach cannot ruin them. You swallow them before intake. You carry them inside your own body through the search. Afterward, you recover them, clean them, and swallow them again before the next time. The body is the one safe the guards cannot open with their hands. And they learn about the labor camp economy from the inside. One stretch in 2003, up at 5 in the morning, working until 11 at night. One first-sized ball of corn to eat, carrying logs up a mountainside, feet wrapped in cloth in the snow. There is no rest day. There is no medicine. There is barely any food. One corn ball against a full day of mountain labor. So the prisoners are starving while they work. That is the design. The camp is built to take more out of a body than it puts back in. People go in and do not come out. And the ones who do come out are not the same. Jinhye sees things in these years that she will not fully describe as an adult, and this video will not pretend to be for her. One line is enough. She watched people beating. She watched what months of starvation do to her body. She was a child the entire time. She learned to lock it away and keep her own story straight, because the alternative was the political camp for all of them. The mother pays the highest price to protect the grades. She is beaten so badly that fragments of bone end up lodged in her skull. One of her eardrums is ruptured. She takes it, and she keeps the story straight. Food. Only food. And then the loop starts turning faster each time. They were released. They cross back into China. You might ask why they keep going back to the river that keeps getting them caught. The answer is simple. There is nothing behind them. The famine that killed the father, the grandmother, the baby, is still there. Going back to North Korea for good is not safety. It is the same death the family already ran from. So, each time they are dumped across the border, they wait, they heal what they can, and they cross again. Not because they are reckless, because every other direction is also death, and at least the river has a far bank. Caught too. Each cycle is shorter than the last. Each time the file gets thicker. Each time the grade drifts a little closer to treason because the state can see this family keeps coming back. Watch what is happening to the family across these cycles. The first catch was pure terror. Third, it is almost a procedure. They know the handover. They know the intake. They know which answers live and which ones kill. The mother has her story and never once breaks it. Jinhye knows the rhythm of the questions before they are asked. The state believes it is grinding this family down. It is doing the opposite. Every catch is a lesson in how the machine works, paid for in blood, and they are passing the course. Caught 3, and then the loop takes Grace. She is caught as a child, separated from her mother, and processed alone. Detention of cells, then a North Korean orphanage, a 9-year-old girl inside the machine without her mother to keep her story straight for her. Think about what that means. No one holds the answers for her. No one whispers, sit down, stand up, say food, say nothing else. She faces the exam alone, at an age when most children cannot get through a day without a parent. The orphanage is not kind. It is a holding pen with a flag over it. And every day, Grace is inside it. The mother on the other side of the border is doing the math no parent should ever do, weighing a daughter she can see against a daughter she cannot reach. Then comes the 4th catch. And this one is different. Caught 4. The agents are not grading anymore. They already have specific questions. Church, South Korea. They know what to ask. And they have a new instrument. They take the mother into another room, and they torture her where her daughters can hear it. And an agent crouches down in front of 2 girls on a concrete floor and makes them an offer. You are back inside the first scene of this video. Now you know what silence costs. Now you know what it protects. The agent tries everything. He raises the pain in the next room. He lowers his voice. He tells the girls it is easy, that one honest word makes it all stop, that their silence is the thing hurting their mother. Every instinct a child has is screaming to make the screaming stop. They override every one of them. They have learned the exam too. Food. Only food. Nothing else exists. The girls held it. The family passes as food seekers one final time. But the walls have closed in completely, and the family can see it now. Stay in North Korea and starve. Cross again, and the next catch will be treason, because the file is too thick to pass as hunger anymore. Hide in China and be hunted forever. 3 doors. Every one of them leads back to this same room. Who is on the other end of a message that found its way through 4 catches, 4 interrogations, and a sealed border? And what kind of door does 8 years of endurance finally reach? The network the family reached has a name at the end of it. A man. He was born in North Korea as John Yoon. The war made him an orphan. He was raised in an orphanage in South Korea. He grew up, moved to the United States, and became a pastor in Seattle. And then, 50 years after the country threw him away, he went back. First feed people during the famine, then move them. He built safe houses across the borderland. He found guides. He mapped the routes out. One time, he moved 32 people 10,000 miles, all the way to the embassy in Bangkok. Think about the scale of that. 32 people who do not officially exist, moved in secret across the entire width of China and out the southern side, into a country that will let them ask for asylum. Every safe house is a family risking prison to hold them. Every guide is a man who can be bought by either side. One informant, one bad night, and the whole chain break. It broke more than once. He rebuilt it every time. In 2002, an informant burned his whole operation. So, he legally changed his name to Philip Buck, and he went back in under the new one. The machine knows him. It considers him a big fish, and it held him too. He was arrested in Yanji while escorting 14 refugees. He spent 15 months in a Chinese cell. He was deported in 2006 and banned for life. He paid for every life he moved. Those 15 months in a Chinese cell were the price of the 14 people he was walking out the night they grabbed him. He knew the risk, and he went back anyway, again, because he had been one of these children once, thrown away by the same country, and somebody had pulled him through. This is the door the family's 8 years of endurance finally reached. Not a savior dropping from the sky. A man the system orphaned, who survived, and came back to pull others through the same hole. And the 5th escape runs on one weakness the machine cannot fix. It's corruption. The state is full of agents who grade people for a living, and people who can be bought in a category can be bought with cash. North Korean agents are bribed. The family that stealth could not save in 4 tries is simply purchased out by the same hunger for money that once strip-searched them. This is the part that you should stay with. For 13 years, The family tried to beat the system by being quiet, careful, and invisible. It failed 4 times. What finally worked was not stealth at all. It was money, handed to the right official. The machine that grades human beings for a living will, in the end, sell one. The same greed that strip-searched them is the lever that frees them. Escape 5. Then they reach the one place inside China the regime cannot enter. UNHCR Protection, Beijing, 2006. The United Nations Refugee Agency. China cannot drag them out of there. Then the longest wait of the whole story. 2 years of limbo, paperwork, silence, nothing to do but wait. 2 years is a strange kind of freedom. No one is hunting them anymore, but they are not anywhere yet either. They live inside a process, waiting for a country to say yes, knowing that if it says no, there is nowhere else to go. After the river, the catches, the camps, the bone in her skull, the last obstacle is a stack of forms and a calendar. And in 2008, a plane, the United States. They are among the first roughly 130 North Korean refugees ever admitted under the 2004 law that opened the door. The wheels leave the ground. After 13 years, the machine cannot reach them anymore. No more rivers. No more intake room. No more sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up. No more story to keep straight under a fist. For the first time since a father walked out to find rice, no one on earth was allowed to drag them back. But freedom answers the title. It does not answer the ledger. The father, killed for a sack of rice. The grandmother, the baby. The little boy counted 5 nights. The 18-year-old sister walked out for food and never came back. 5 escapes, and 5 people who never crossed. What does freedom owe the 5 who never crossed? And what does a survivor do with a debt no escape can clear? Washington, D.C. 2008. Jinhye is in America now. She is safe. And she does the thing nobody expects. She walks to the Chinese embassy, sits down in front of it, and stops eating. 15 days. Hunger, the weapon the regime used to kill her father and her grandmother and her brothers, picked up and turned around. This time she chose it. This time it is aimed at the government that caught her family and sold them back 4 times. 15 days without food are easy for a government to ignore, unless you make the world watch. That is the whole calculation. She cannot fight China with an army. She can fight it with attention. So, she puts her own body on the sidewalk in front of its embassy and dares people to look away. That is the moment the daughter stops being a survivor and becomes an operator. In 2011, she founds an organization, Enkin USA, and it does the one thing that reframes from this entire story. It runs people out of North Korea along the same underground routes her own family crawled through. The girl who sat on the floor and watched her mother work on the system is now the one running the rescues. The count starts climbing again, only now does it climb in her favor. Her organization gets 83 people out. 83. Each one is a version of her own family on a riverbank somewhere, on the same routes, with the same machine behind them. She knows exactly what those people are facing because she faced it 4 times. That is what makes her good at this. She is not guessing how the system works. She graded its exams from the inside, and she passed everyone. In 2012, she and her mother sit side by side in the Rayburn building and testify before the United States Congress. The 2 women who passed as food seekers under torture now state the whole truth on the record for anyone to read. In 2013, that testimony feeds the United Nations Commission of Inquiry into North Korea. Sit with that turn. Inside the interrogation room, the family's whole survival depended on never telling the truth, because the truth was a death sentence. Now the same 2 women sit in a hearing room in Washington and tell all of it, on the record, under their own names, for the world to read. The lie kept them alive inside the machine. The truth is the weapon they use on it from outside. And the last piece of tradecraft is the quietest. Smuggled cell phones, moving voices across the same border she once crossed inside a sack. The woman who was hunted across that river now runs communications back into the country that hunted her. It is the most dangerous thing a North Korean can own. A phone that reaches the outside world, and she keeps them moving in. Information is the one thing the regime guards hardest, because a country that cannot hear the outside is a country that is easy to lie to. She spends her freedom punching holes in that wall, one smuggled signal at a time. The machine caught this family 4 times, and in doing it, the machine built the one adversary it could not have wanted. Every capture taught her a little more about how it worked. Every interrogation was an exam. This is graduation. Go back to the silence. The 15-year-old was on the concrete floor, listening to her mother scream, saying nothing. Read it again. That was not a frightening child. That was disciplined. That was an operator protecting the mission under torture. But there is no clean ending here, and the story does not pretend there is one. The 18-year-old sister is still missing, to this day. The mother still does not know what happened to her firstborn. The father has no graves. The little boy counted to 5 and no one ever came. 5 escapes, 5 who never crossed. Both numbers are true at the same time. The state caught her 4 times. It taught her 4 times exactly how it works. Now she gets people out, caught 4, escaped 5, extracted 83. Somewhere across that border tonight, a phone she smuggled in is ringing in the dark, and on the other end, another person is about to learn the way out. If this story keeps you up, there's another one that will finish the job. A North Korean defector who risked everything to escape one of the most locked-down countries on Earth, then turned around and broke back in not once, but repeatedly smuggling in food, medicine, and USB drives while the regime hunted him across 2 borders. That video is on screen now.